Here's a wild tour story. When I was in New Orleans early in my career with a group called Subway. It was on Motown Bib 10. And we had to do, it was called Family Day in the Park in New Orleans. So imagine trying to get to this concert, and it's the biggest thing in the city. It started at noon, goes till 8, and it's 4 o'clock, and you're supposed to be on stage at 5. And we got stuck about a quarter mile from the venue. Like this, the minivan, just we couldn't move. Traffic was that bad. And we had to get out. And these kids were big at that time in New Orleans. And we had to get out, and we had to run through the park. And we started walking, you know, people were like, well, hey. Nobody knew who the guys were. By the time we got probably about 300 feet from the back gate where we can go in, we had like, it felt like the Jackson 5. Like we had a crowd of like 1,000 girls chasing these kids, and it was crazy. You know, I've seen the gunfight and the bottle against the head, but something fun and cool was to watch these kids like almost get stampeded. And you know, that was really cool. A very humbling experience for me in the business, kind of gave me some mortality, I guess, if you will, was we were doing a Motown talent search and with Andre Harrell, and he actually came to my market to run with us for a few days, and it was kind of rough. There's been a couple opportunities where I felt like either I've just done something so stupid that I'm done, I'm over, even where I'm like, well, how and why did this happen to me? So I don't mind sharing this story. So I was on, remember the Motown talent search when Andre Harrell took over Motown. And I had like 5 of the markets. And I was a rep in Texas. So I had biggest territory, so we had the most shows there. And when they brought the company, you know, like Clark Kent was my man. There was a few people who I'd known previously who were working at the company now. And so we were just out kicking and partying, you know. It was the champagne and bubble, you know, it was it. We was rolling. The last night of my part of the tour, we had a big party. It was Deion Sanders' club in Dallas. He had a club called Primetime 21. After the event, we went to another club. And the owner of the club opened up the doors, had us kicking it. Now, I told you about being an executive. You have to go to bed after the artist and get up before them. So we had an interview scheduled with Tom Joyner. And Tom was, you know, Motown guy, so he was not really happy about the transition at the time. And like, listen, we'll interview Andre, but he got to be here at 7 o'clock on the dot, whatever. So I went home, because I've been on the road for a week, and I fell asleep. The next phone call I got was at 8 o'clock, asking me where I was and why we missed the interview from Tom's people. Mortified, thought my career was over. I called my boss who lived in California at the time, Jimmy Mack. God rest his soul. I messed up. I missed the interview. He said, what do you mean? I said, I overslept. He said, well, I'll call Andre and figure it out. So my next call was to Clark Kent, who was my guy. He said, yo, just get over here and, you know, we'll get it sorted out. Clark was one of the A&R guys. We had the original Hitman. Puffy had the Hitman. We had all the Hitman. We had like 20 A&Rs. Clark Kent, Eddie F. I mean, it was so many guys in the A&R team. It was crazy. I wound up going to Joyner Studios, literally hat in hand, begging Tom, one, it wasn't Andre's fault, it was me. I explained to him what happened, and that, you know, I would really appreciate it if he wouldn't just go on the radio the next day and just bash Andre for not showing up, because it wasn't his fault, it was my fault. And because I had a good relationship with him, they said it was okay. And then I moved to go meet Andre and his crew. So of course they kept me baking for like an hour. And I was like, dude, I'm getting fired. This is not gonna end well. And no, when he finally came down, I said, listen, Andre, I know I screwed up, I messed up. I said, but I fixed it. He said, what do you mean? I said, I talked to Tom. There's no juice on you, you good. You know, they're gonna keep playing our records. He's not gonna be mad at you. He's not gonna say anything bad about you on the radio. And it's gonna be cool. And he said, all right, you good? I'm like, I'm good? He said, yeah, you good. And that was kind of a sobering moment for me, literally. Like, listen, sometimes you gotta just stay in work mode. 2, don't ever keep the boss waiting. Like, don't ever do that. And I learned if you cause a problem, you can fix it. And from that, I kind of just been freestyling the whole time. Like, I've always felt like if I could survive something like that at an early point in my career, then I could survive anything. Because Andre didn't really know me. He'd met me, and we've been together for a few days, but he had no reason to give me a second opportunity. And and I learned the art of forgiveness from that as well, because giving somebody grace is always, your way to get grace yourself. So
when Little John and all the down south guys were using their regional influence on labels, and all those labels were like, damn, why would I pay X amount of dollars for all these samples? This dude here sold gold in his neighborhood, punching 2 notes on a Triton with no samples. As a businessman, I gotta look at that.
You thinking you helping their dream work is gonna help your dream as well, man. And the fucking moment was just like, hey man, swallow your pride, take that energy, and you help create a blueprint. Do that for yourself, man.
We're in a male-dominated industry, and we think that we're the enemy, and that's stupid. And so I started this event to bring all these women together that feel like they're so different, and show them that they're not. And so they can network, understand that relationships do matter, and it's not just relationships with men, it's relationships with other women also.
For us, the accolades and the recognition came naturally. It was never, our radio show was never a platform to get someplace else. It was the end result. It's what we wanted. We didn't have any ambitions for the show other than, like Bob always says, other than to have an incredible tape the next day.